Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and today it is once again that time of the month when I do my from worst to best, and that is where I take a particular band or artist and I rank their studio albums from worst to best. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that they put out a bad album. That's not always the case. This is just my ranking from basically least favorite to most favorite. All right. That being said, I know a lot of you look at this and think, wait a minute, I thought he was a book and movie channel. I am. That is my main thing. This is a pet project. All right. This is something I do once a month and once a month only. So please, whatever you do, don't look at this and go, this is not what I signed up for. I'm unsubscribing. Please do not do that. I beg of you. All right. Anyway, so today, instead of looking at their entire discography, mainly because I don't have all of their studio albums, I am going to center on the 1970s studio albums of Elton John. And the reason I'm doing it like this is because if you grew up in the 1970s, Elton John was everywhere. He was on the radio, constant radio play, album sales out the wazoo, all right? I mean, he was just on fire, all right? Absolutely on fire from 1970 to 1979. Pretty much every one of his albums went gold, platinum. I don't know if there was anything beyond that back then. I know nowadays they're diamond, like why, whatever, you know. That being said, this is my ranking of the 1970s albums from Elton John. Now, I know I said, and I'm going to be starting off with my least favorite. I know I said that, you know, usually with these artists that they didn't make a bad album. Unfortunately, with this first pick, I can't say that. All right. Now, this was released in 1979. And it's pretty much Elton's, his opportunity, I guess, that he took to kind of cash in on the disco craze, which of course was kind of dying out by then anyway. None of the songs on this album were written with his co-writing partner, his songwriting partner, Bernie Taupin. In fact, I don't even know. This was produced by Pete Bellott, and of course I'm pretty sure he was known for a lot of disco and stuff. Anyway, I am talking about the atrocious, and I truly mean atrocious, Victim of Love. For somebody that put out so many great albums in the 1970s, to close out with such a stinker of an album, it just absolutely is beyond my comprehension. You know, I mean, yes, he was starting to kind of fade out and just kind of go off into the sunset for a while. And of course, a lot of that had to do with the fact that back in the 1970s, he announced, I believe, I can't remember the magazine, but he admitted to being at the time bisexual. Now, of course, back then, that did not set well with people. Huge backlash, burning his records and all that stuff. I didn't do that. I love the guy. Because I think he's an absolutely phenomenal talent, okay? His later stuff, I'm not as big a fan of. I don't like the way his voice changed. But back then, he was, again, like I said, he was on fire. But then he releases this as his final 1970s album. And it just was like such a downturn. All right, so the songs on this are Johnny Be Good, a horrible remake of the song. Warm Love in a Cold World, Born Bad, Thunder in the Night, Spotlight, Street Boogie, and the title cut, Victim of Love. Even the titles of this album, are just absolutely horrendous. So that is my number, I believe they're 12, I may be wrong. I think it's 12, but anyway, that's my least favorite Elton John CD. Okay, next up. Now, this one here was right before, it actually came right before Victim of Love from 1978. And this one now, you can definitely tell that he was kind of taking a downturn. The quality of the songs, excuse me, I got an itchy nose, sorry about that. Anyway, the quality of the songs were just not quite on par. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad album. It's actually a good album, but it's just not up there with his best work. And I'm talking about, excuse me, I'm going to scratch my nose real quick. Oh, gosh, that's nice. Here we go. Anyway, I'm talking about A Single Man. All right. Sorry about the glare. There we go. More somber looking Elton in the kind of stylish Victorian era clothing. Long road, almost bet you that leads to his mansion, you know. Let's see, the tracks on this are Shine On Through, Return to Paradise, I Don't Care, Big Dipper. There's a lot of innuendo to that song, all right. It Ain't Gonna Be Easy, Part-Time Love, which was the hit off of this. Georgia, that was a pretty nice song, Georgia, and like what it's about. It's about the state of Georgia, you know. Let me see, turning it on here. Shooting Star was not too bad. Madness was kind of the big rocker on this one. Then Reverie and Song for Guy, which Song for Guy was an instrumental, and it actually was a hit. Probably a minor hit, but it was an ode or a tribute to his their delivery boy, I believe he was, Guy Burchett, and he was killed in a motorcycle accident. And so this was Elton's way of saying, hey, you know, we're always going to remember you. All right, so yeah, this is A Single Man, excuse me, and yeah, all right. So next up, this one had 2 hits on it, and I'm talking about from 1973. Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player. And this was the first Elton John album that I listened to. This was one that was handed down to me from my sister. When I was young, was listening to music. First thing was that I inherited pretty much my sister's record collection. And what's funny about it is her record collection consisted of a little bit of Elton John, but a whole lot of Donny Osmond, the Osmond Brothers, the Cowsills, if anybody remembers who they are. I thought they were horrible. You know, and then as I got older and my taste changed, I realized just how bad the Osmond Brothers were. Yeah, but then again, she had stuff like this. And this, like I said, Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player. This got Daniel, which was one of the hits. Teacher, I Need You. That's a pretty cool one there. Actually, some really pretty cool songs on this one. Elderberry Wine, Blues for My Baby and Me, Midnight Creeper, Have Mercy on the Criminal. Strong hit. Strong, really strong track from there. I'm Gonna Be a Teenage Idol. Texan Love Song, which is to me, one of the weirdest songs he ever wrote. Crocodile Rock, the other hit, you know, and finally High Flying Bird, which is probably my favorite song on this album. So yeah, Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player. All right, yeah, don't do that. Okay, next up from 1974, this was the one that came right after Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Okay, and this is Caribou. All right. And when you follow up something as big as Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, that's some big freaking shoes to have to fill. And it didn't quite live up to it, but it's still a pretty doggone good album. All right? So we got The Bitch Is Back, Pinky, Grimsby, Dixie Lily, Dixie Lily, Solar Prestige Gammon, which was kind of his way of writing a nonsense song, like Da Do Run Run or Shana Na Na Na, you know, with nonsense lyrics to it. You're So Static. I've Seen the Saucers. Stinker. Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, which was the big hit from this one, along with The Bitch Is Back. The Bitch Is Back wasn't as big a hit. I think it's a more fun song than Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, but I still do enjoy the latter song, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. And finally, his version, or his and Bernie's, because you got to remember, all these songs, the lyrics were written by Bernie Taupin. Elton John can't write a lick of lyrics, all right? He can't do it. That's why he always has a songwriter, a lyric writer. Anyway, a song called Ticking. And it's about this guy that basically goes on a shooting rampage. It's about a 7 or 8 minute song, or maybe shorter than that, but it always seemed like it was longer. But it's a really cool song. It's my favorite song on this album, on Caribou. So yeah, there you go, Caribou. All right, next up from 1975, we have got Rock of the Westies. And of course, that's a play on words, Rock of the Westies, west of the Rockies, all right? This one is pretty much the one where the songs are good, the tracks are really good, but it was really, you were really starting to be able to tell that he was kind of slowing down, all right? Again, it's not a bad album. It's actually a really good album, really upbeat album, personally to me. Let's see, you got a medley, and that is of Yell Help, Wednesday Night, and Ugly. Dan Dare, Pilot of the Future. Island Girl, which was one of the big hits off of this one. Grow Some Funk of Your Own, which was the other one. I Feel Like a Bullet in the Gun of Robert Ford, a beautiful breakup ballad. It also might be a kind of a cheating ballad. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a really gorgeous song. Street Kids, Hard Luck Story, Feed Me, and it closes out with Billy Bones and The White Bird. Now, one thing I'll say about these albums or these CDs that I own, a lot of them do have bonus tracks on them. I'm not naming the bonus tracks because they were not an original part of the studio album. So that's why I'm not naming them, all right? Okay. Next up, this one to me is probably Elton John's most underrated album. It just didn't do well. It got like a 2-star rating on Rolling Stone. I, for one, love it. It's a more somber, a more serious album than the rest of his stuff. You know, not as upbeat, but I still absolutely love it. And I'm talking about from 1976. I'm talking about his second 2-record set, Blue Moves. And you should be able to tell by the cover there's going to be a little more somber, a little more, I keep saying somber, a little more serious tone to it. You see the people just kind of lazing around, taking an easy, pretty easy day or whatever. All right. And so on CD 1, you got Your Starter 4, which is an instrumental. Tonight, beautiful song. One Horse Town, Chameleon, Boogie Pilgrim, Cage the Songbird, which is about the artist the singer, I believe opera singer, Edith Piaf, and it's got some backing vocals from, I believe, Stephen Stills and David Crosby. Crazy Water, Shoulder Holster. Side 2, you got Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word, which was his the big hit off of this. Out of the Blue, another instrumental. Between 17 and 20, The Wide-Eyed and Laughing. Someone's Final Song, which is kind of a pretty much a lyrical suicide note. Where's the Shirah? If There's a God in Heaven, What's He Waiting For? Idol. I believe this one, that was about Elvis Presley, I'm pretty sure. Theme from a non-existent TV series, another instrumental. And finally, Bite Your Lip, Get Up and Dance, all right? And a lot of these featured choruses or choirs instead of just 2 or 3 backing vocalists or whatever. A lot of them featured some big choruses. In fact, a lot of them had the Reverend James Cleveland and the, I can't remember his thing. Reverend James Cleveland and, let me look at one of these here. Yeah, Reverend James Cleveland. Oh, here we go. The backing vocals, the Cornerstone Institutional Baptist and Southern California Community Choir, directed by Reverend James Cleveland. So he was going for that all-out sound with this, okay? Anyway, that is Blue Moves. Like I said, it's his most underrated album, if you ask me, all right? You know, and maybe you didn't ask me. I don't know. Okay, next up, this is his first album from 1970. In fact, it came out right in 1970. This was his second album. His first was from 1969. It was Empty Sky, which is a really pretty damn good debut album. But this one has the song on it that is his probably most familiar song, and all you have to do is just play the first chords of the piano, the opening piano piece, and you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm talking about the debut album, not debut, but self-titled Elton John. All right, and so you got Your Song. I Need You to Turn To, Take Me to the Pilot, No Shoestrings on Louise. First episode at Hyanton, 60 Years On, beautiful song. Border Song, another beautiful song. In fact, Border Song is one of the only times he actually wrote lyrics. He actually wrote the closing, part of the closing verse, and after that, it's just like, look, don't, you play the piano or your other instruments, and that's what anyway. The Greatest Discovery, The Cage, and The King Must Die. That is Elton John from 1970. Okay. All right. And what I want to say first, I want to go on a little bit of a rant here about the Rocket Man movie. Okay. I went to see it hoping that I would see a fairly accurate account of Elton John's life from childhood to now, all right? His addictions and all that stuff, okay? I ended up absolutely hating the movie. And the reason being is, yes, they were pretty accurate with the whole life story thing, but they were so inaccurate with the choices of music at the particular times in his life. And the one that bugged me the most was when they showed the scene where he debuted in America at the Troubadour Club, okay? His 5-night appearance at the Troubadour Club is the stuff of absolute legend. I mean, he showed everyone what Elton John was all about that night. There were people like Neil Diamond, Leon Russell, all different kinds of celebrities in attendance there. And he just absolutely nailed it. So whenever that scene shows up and they start to play it, I'm like, all right, this is awesome. What's the song that they play on it? Crocodile Rock. Crocodile Rock had not even been written at the time that he appeared at the Troubadour Club. In fact, I will leave you a link to his set list for the Troubadour Club down in the description below. The songs he played on it were mainly from his debut album, his second album, Elton John, and I believe part of his third album, which was Tumbleweed Connection. Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player would not appear for another, 3, maybe 4 years or so after that. So why could they not pick something from when he played at the Troubadour Club? I absolutely hated that. All right? Rant over. All right? Some of you are going to disagree with me. That's fine. You know what? You might have loved it. That's great. Everybody's got their own opinion. Just my opinion. I hated it. Okay? There we go. All right. Next up from 1975. This is his... Basically, what you can call this is Elton John and Bernie Taupin's musical autobiography. And I'm talking about Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. God, look at that cover. The artwork on the cover. Just so much going on. You got Elton, Captain Fantastic right here. And then you got the kid, Bernie Taupin. All right. And that's what they were referred to in the title song was the captain and the kid. All right, you got Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, Tower of Babel, Bitter Fingers, Tell Me When the Whistle Blows, Someone Saved My Life Tonight, which was about his suicide attempt. He was going to marry this woman, and she was just a complete domineering bitch. Hated his music, didn't want him, anything, and he literally was just like, hey, no. And this, one of his bandmates, Long John Baldry, stepped in and said, hey, man, you cannot do this. You can't marry this woman. In fact, Elton even attempted suicide by sticking his head into an oven, and letting the gas. He said, but even that he screwed up. He said, because he left all the windows open. All right. So yeah, and also Long John Baldry. John Baldry is where he got the John part of his stage name, and then of course he took the other one from Elton Dean, his saxophonist. So a little bit of trivia there, which you probably already know. Got to Get a Meal Ticket, pretty strong rocker. Better Off Dead, Writing, We All Fall in Love Sometimes, and Curtains. Yeah, that is Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. All right. Okay, moving on. Oh, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Probably these next 4 or 5, I believe, are my absolute favorite Elton John albums. So leading up, starting with 1971, we have got Madman Across the Water. And this one features probably the next song that is probably his second most recognizable. And if you ever saw Almost Famous, the scene on the bus, everybody's singing along to it. You know what song I'm talking about? Tiny Dancer. And no, he is not saying Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza, which is funny, but that's not what he's saying, all right? Anyway, Tiny Dancer, Leave On, Razorface, the title track, Madman Across the Water. God, I love that song. Indian Sunset, Holiday Inn, Rotten Peaches, All the Nasties, and Goodbye. All right, that is Madman Across the Water. Moving on. Next up, we have got, I believe this is my number 3 pick. It is my number 3 pick. This is a 1970 Tumbleweed Connection. And this was kind of Bernie Taupin and Elton's kind of their ode to the old west of the United States. Bernie became fascinated with that. And so he wrote songs basically around it. So yeah, first up you've got Ballad of a Well-Known Gun, Come Down in Time, beautiful love song. Country Comfort, Son of Your Father, My Father's Gun, Where To Now, St. Peter, Love Song. And Love Song was one of the few songs during that time that was not written by Elton and Bernie. It was written by a young woman by the name of Leslie Duncan, who also did some backing vocals on his records. So yeah, it's a beautiful song too. It's exactly what it says it is. It's a love song. Gorgeous. Amarina, Talking Old Soldiers. And finally, to me, one of Elton John's absolute best songs, Burn Down the Mission. God, that's an awesome song. All right, so yeah, we got Tumbleweed Connection, Elton John. And even the cover of it has that Old West feel. You got Elton sitting right here in like this Old West looking railway station. And then you turn it around, you got Bernie leaning up against the wall. Yeah, so awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Number two from 1972, Honky Chateau. All right. And let's go through the tracks here on this one, guys. This is another just fantastic album. This one and the number one album, there is not a single weak track on this album, okay? All right, so we got Honky Cat, Mellow, I Think I'm Gonna Kill Myself, Susie, Dramas, Rocket Man, bam, all right. Salvation, Slave, Amy, Mona Lisa's, and Mad Hatters. Awesome song, gorgeous song, I love it. And finally, Hercules, and which is also the adopted middle name of Elton John. His actual stage name is, or his full change name or full pseudonym name or whatever, is Elton Hercules John. All right. Of course, his real name is Reginald Dwight. You know, so you can pretty well see why he changed it to Elton John. There you go. All right. The moment we have all been waiting for, and I'm going to give you a little back history about this. Excuse me. Anyway, when I was growing up, I loved music. I loved rock and roll music. However, my dad did not. He absolutely hated rock and roll with a passion. So you can imagine my surprise when he tells me, hey, come on, get in the car, we're going to the drugstore. So he takes me to the drugstore, and this is back when they had all kinds of funky things there that you could buy. And he let me pick out a stereo system, which was a very simple stereo system. It was a turntable and 2 speakers. He says, okay, he said, pick out some music. The very first album, and what would turn out to be Elton John's greatest album of all time. The album that I picked out that day was the double album, Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. I'm sorry about the glare. All right. Oh, man. Let me get my hand up above it there. Yeah, but this, like I said, there is not a weak track on this album. All 17 tracks are just absolutely awesome. I have probably listened to this album hundreds of times over the years, and I never, ever get tired of it. So, that being said, let's give you the track listing here. Let me find it first, because it's a pretty big, pretty sizable little booklet. All right. I mean, this was the one that it is Elton John at his shining moment. All right. So, good Lord, let me get to the tracks here. I might as well just go to the back of the thing. All right. You got Funeral for a Friend and Love Lies Bleeding. Hell of a way to kick off this album. Candle in the Wind, of course, was his dedication to Marilyn Monroe. Benny and the Jets. Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. Beautiful ballad. This song has no title. Gray Seal. Jamaica Jerk Off. I've seen that movie too. Sweet Painted Lady. The Ballad of Danny Bailey, 1909 to 1934. Dirty Little Girl. All the Girls Love Alice. In fact, those 1, 2, 3, 4 songs, starting with Sweet Painted Lady and ending with All the Girls Love Alice, that was kind of his raunchy side. That was kind of the raunchy side of the album. I believe those 4 songs were on the first side of disc 2 or album 2. So all Sweet Painted Lady is about a prostitute. The Ballad of Danny Bailey is about a gangster. All the Girls, Dirty Little Girl is about a nasty tramp. All right, a dirty tramp. And then All the Girls Love Alice is, of course, about a teenage lesbian girl. So yeah, that's kind of his dirty, his little raunchy side or whatever. After that, we've got Your Sister Can't Twist, but She Can Rock and Roll. Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. Saturday, yeah, right, man. Roy Rogers, Social Disease, and it closes out with the lovely and melodic Harmony. So that's it. That is my picks, my ranking of the 1970s albums from Elton John. Hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I'm still a book and movie channel. This is my side project. Please don't unsubscribe, all right? I appreciate it if you don't, all right? Anyway, that being said, leave a comment. If you like this video, leave a comment. Share with me your favorite Elton John albums. And it doesn't matter. It could be from the 80s, the 90s, and beyond, okay? So yeah, and that's going to do it. So thank you for watching. I know this has been a long video, and I do appreciate you watching. Thank you, and you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.